Are we going? Okay, so when you are going to operate the lathe, there are some safety things you need to have. And one of them, especially when you're doing a roughing operation, is to have a face shield. Now, can you wear a face shield instead of safety glasses?
No.
Both, Rob.
Both. So, you have one of the face shields? So, this is one of the face shields. I prefer these because they don't get as dirty and I don't have to wipe them down like the lenses and stuff. So, you know, you just put that on, and so that's going to protect you if the wood should shoot off, okay? And I've had students where I've said, I can think of one in particular, Zach, years ago, where he wasn't wearing his face shield, and I said, hey, you need to get your face shield on. He said, in a minute. What do you think happened in the next 20 seconds? Bam! Right off and split his lip. So you want to use the face shield, but because I'm going to be talking, it might block it. You know, my talking, you might not be able to hear me. So, well, let's see. You can still hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, one of the things that I've noticed with the mesh is that when you're starting to do your finer detail work, that's when you might want to switch over to the clear. Because the clear you're going to see, it'll be a little easier to see when you're doing your finished work, and that'll make more sense as we get to it. So, when you are starting off, you're going to practice with a piece of 2x4 cut to, you know, maybe an 8-inch length, and then split in half. So you're going to rip it. Okay, so let's look at the order of operation and how you're going to do this in case you forget. 'Cause if I'm not here, you got to remember how this works. So if I get a 2x4, you guys all remember what a 2x4 is, right? Okay, what it looks like. What is it? So the 2x4 before I ripped it was like that, right? Remember that? And if you need more, they're up there above the finish room. So, get someone to help you on the ladder. So, I split that. How did I cut all this? What machines did I use?
Table saw.
What did I first use to cut it off the longer length?
The
Miter saw. And then I did what operation on the table saw?
ripping.
Ripping. Okay? So I set it up for the measurement, and then I used the push stick, got my height and all that stuff, and put it right through. Okay? Alright, so. Oh. You know what I didn't grab? I need the rubber mallet. No, I'll just. Yeah, so that they do it properly. We're going to use what's called a spur chuck. If you pull out a spur chuck, there are different ones, but these you check out with me. The checkout sheet is in the top drawer. That is the turning cabinet. So the checkout sheet is in there, and so you write down spur chuck, the date, and your name, and all that stuff, and you give me that slip of paper, and then you go grab the spur chuck. On the other side of the turning cabinet is another smaller cabinet, which is the smaller turning cabinet, and everything's labeled what's there. Okay? So whatever you need, it's in there. You'll learn what all these things are and how to find them. There are different types of spur chucks. This one has a spring center. The spring is set right now. And then this one has another center. I don't like these as much as I like these. They grab it better. How about dead blow? This will just bounce back. So you're going to use a dead blow hammer to put this in there, like so. You don't use a regular hammer. Why might not you use a regular hammer to smack this in?
It could mess up
well,
the edges.
it's going to go like this, but you're on the right track.
It's going to like mess up the...
It can create sparks.
It might.
It's going to mess up the end of that.
It's going to mess up the end of the tool. It's going to flatten it, mess it up, I mean, to the point to where we can't use it. So, what you want to do, I mean, this is, you know, a practice piece, but to show you the fine center, if this was a nice square piece of wood, I mean, this is just a little quick demo. I'm going to go corner to corner. And then that'll find center there. We'll see how it is on this other side. It's not a perfect piece of wood, but since this is just a practice piece, I'm not so freaked out about it. But when you go to do your pen turning or your bottle stopper turning, you're going to want to be able to find center, and you'll see why that's important. All right, let's see how you did remembering the parts of the lathe. What's this area right here? Headstock?
There was literally a cricket in the background.
Yeah. Tailstock. This part right here, that when I unlock this, moves in and out. Plus, okay, you can't see it, there's a groove right here. That groove should be in aligned with this lock, okay? So this part right here, what is this called that moves in and out? That is the ram. Remember, CU go ram. CSU go Rams? CU. I didn't mean that! Rams. CU. Yeah, I'll get a lot of stuff on YouTube about that. Okay, this right here is a live center. We can take this out to put other parts in there, and you'll see how that works. So, what's this part?
The tool rest.
Tool rest. Moves in and out, moves up and down, okay? So, I need to take my spur chuck, find center, go over to the table, and create the little teeth notches in there. Okay, it doesn't have to stick so it doesn't fall out. It just has to stick into there so that it stays in place. And that's going to make more sense right now. So I bring the tailstock over. I line that live center up with center there. I lock that in place. I tighten that a little so it goes into the wood, and I lock it off. Now, the other thing that I want to do is I want to get set up. What do you think the distance is for the tool rest to the wood?
1/4. 1/8.
Which one do you think?
1/4.
8.
8 to a 16. You absolutely want to make sure that your tool can't get down there and your finger can't get down there. All right. I had a girl a few years ago. She forgot to bring it in as she was turning it down, and one of her fingers got down into there and it sprained it. So you do have to be careful. So what I do is I turn the piece of wood and make sure it's not going to hit my rest, and make sure that it's within those parameters. And then I bring the tool rest up to just below center. And that's because of the way I turn. And you may learn to hold the tools a little differently, and you may set that up a little differently. But that's where I like to turn. I'll probably make an adjustment when I'm turning. I like to go a little below center. Now on these, you pull the handles out in order to be able to move it and lock it in to make adjustments. You guys all see how that works? Most of the handles on these machines all do that, so that you can move it, because you'll hit the bottom of this, so you can move it up. Okay, I'm going to tighten that a little more. All right, now, do I just turn the machine on?
No.
Do I know what speed it's set at? This is a variable speed, like that drill press we've gone over. So what do? Make sure that the speed's down. All right, so everything looks all right. So that's slow speed. The reason this duct tape's there is because we can stop this, and there's a little stop that I can put into there so that I can do adjustments on the machine, so you won't have to really deal with that. Hang on just a sec. Someone's messed with this. Much better. Alright, so that's a slower speed. Now, you'll get used to at what speeds to do various operations. When I say operations, like what I'm going to start with is a roughing operation. I have to take, every time I'm turning, I have to go from, usually it's going to be a square stop down to a cylinder. have to get it down to a cylinder in order to do everything else. Sometimes you might start with a round stock, but not that often, unless you're doing a tree trunk or something like that. But no matter what, you're always starting with a roughing operation, and when you are doing a roughing operation, you're always going to start with a gouge, okay? And there are different types of gouges depending on what you're going to do. This one here is a deep fluted gouge, okay? Deep fluted gouge. That's a more shallow gouge. This one right here, you would use maybe on bowl turning and stuff more, but I mean, you can practice with it. That is a skew chisel. Why might that be a skew?
It's at an angle.
It's at an angle, right? Alright. That is the toe. That's the heel. Yeah. And then that's the blade, of course. Alright? So skew chisel has the toe and the heel. And I'll show you how to use that also. You always start. Well, this one doesn't have one. Over in that kit, we'll just grab it. I'm looking for the. Here it is. Here's one. This is a nose scraper. The scraping tool. Okay. Nose scraper. You got a pimple. I'll just go right up and scrape it right off. How's that? No? You're good? Okay. Alright. So, at any time that you're going to do a roughing operation, what tool do you use? Gouge. Don't ever start with anything else. Okay? Taking a chance of hurting yourself. The wood tearing up. Start with a gouge. Alright? So, I'll shut this off so that you can hear me a little better. For your learning, you're going to start with your hand up against here and then the tool on the tool rest. Okay? And then for me, this is my style. I put my thumb here because I like how I can pivot. Okay? Now there are some people in here, once they learned from me and other people, you know, to hold it like this, they come in and hold it like that. And I've seen some pros do that too. And that's fine. You can still pivot, but for me, I like how this feels.
I hold mine like this.
You like this?
Yeah.
So, but you'll figure out what feels good for you, right? Just how you learned originally to hold a pencil, and then now, you know, some people hold it really funky and all that stuff. What works for you, but you still have to adhere to the safety stuff. You have to have your hand and that tool against the tool rest. All right? That tool rest keeps your hand away from the moving part, and it stops, having it right there stops the tool from going too far down like this, okay, and getting caught. So, I'll start there. Ooh, I hope it doesn't fly off to you guys. I think it will. Alright, so when you're starting and you're learning how to use the tool, go up like this, bring it down, and when it starts to cut, you're going to move it. So see with this mesh, with the mesh on, it's hard for me to see, it's hard to see my line. I may have to switch again to a different safety tool, because it is really hard to see with the mesh on, to see the line. I'm going to have to take this off so I can see better. Can you give me a clear one?
Yeah.
Alright. So what it's doing is it's taking off the corners right now. Okay, that's why it's so loud. And after I started doing that, I'm checking this. That's a little loose, so I need to tighten this because of the vibration and the impact. Alright, so you can see that it's taking the corners off right now. And I have to get rid of the flat spots too. Okay? So I will get those down. if for some reason the tool isn't cutting properly, check and see your angle. Now on the gouges, I'm always trying to go, I don't go straight in. You will grab that corner and chunk out your wood. It could even fall off. Go at just beyond that front part onto that edge. Okay? Now on some of the other gouges, I don't know if there's another one in here. Can you grab me one of the old gouges?
Yeah.
Thanks. The various tools are going to have different profiles for cutting, and so depending on what you're doing, you can grab a different profile. Now some of the ones that we have over there on the other wood lathes, they're older, they've been slightly abused. If it's not sharp, you guys know how to check something for feeling sharp?
With your thumb.
Yeah, just rub your thumb over there. You can tell if it's dull. If it's not cutting right, then it's probably dull. Wait for me to sharpen them, okay? Because there's a specific way to sharpen them. Were you able to find one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All the plastic ones are so fast.
So I get an area going, and then I go a little more. I don't tackle the whole thing in the roughing operation. I take down a little bit. That's funny. Oh, that helps with on the mesh. Switch. Much easier. But see, now it's harder for you guys to hear me. So I'm taking those corners off. Now I'm going to switch. I've been trying to practice switching my hands. You can turn this way and then go to the other profile, this other side of the blade. You can't go the wrong way. Don't go this way. That's not introducing the blade correctly. So you want to be able to go, see, I'll start like this. You got to do it lefty. I'm not a good left-hander. Alright, let's see how it looks right now. A lot of flat spots, it's real rough, okay? So we got to take it down to get rid of all the flat spots. Also, while you're going, you can just go like that. If it bounces, you know you've got flat spots. I'm going to take my edge a little bit right here. You never ever want to hit the metal. It'll ruin your tool and it ruins the spur chuck. So you got to be careful. Yeah, I won't get into parting tools just yet. Actually, I will say something about it. I can take down this edge, and I can actually do my work right here, and I can part this piece and this piece away from the rest of the wood and only keep what's in the center. And I'll show you how that all works. In here, with the project that you're working on, you're not going to be using the parting tool that much, except for using it for decorative lines. But as you get better and better, you start challenging yourself, you can use the parting tool. moving. You can tell where you're at. And you can tell how you're cutting. If it's not cutting like this, then the tool's dull or you don't have it at the right profile. When you're learning, just start like this. Bring it down. And then when it starts cutting, start moving. That could be a real dusty thing, so if you want to have your own dust mask, I have some, and you can keep it in your locker. There are some woods that are definitely not good to breathe in. But which one? Cedar. Yeah, I like how it smells. Don't breathe in the cedar. It could be an irritant. Also, cocobolo. You don't want to breathe that in. I had one student that every time he worked with it, he would get a bloody nose. And I was just like, well, Seth, wear a mask. Alright, so do I have a big gap there now?
Yeah.
So I need to, what's the time on the video right now?
22:15.
Oh, really? Okay, stop it.